You got to remember the name.
Oh, don't play the game.
Otherwise, you can clear off.
If your name's Cedric.
True. I really did enjoy it because it allowed me to channel, all, as I said before, all my aunties, my mum, my grandmum, the aunties I grew up with, like Auntie Donna, or just even the Caribbean aunties. They're the sum of our life as a person of colour. So it allows me to channel them, especially growing up on an estate and everything. You get to meet all sorts of characters, and I just felt that the voice I wanted to speak today was one of those aunties, you know what I mean, that everyone seems to forget. Aunty Patty, she seems that it's like a character study, a study of a character that is comical and everything that is an exaggeration and funny about the typical fortune teller of a person of colour, you know. But it's not just that. I think she's a very real person, and obviously she's got all of these layers to her that you've only got that short scene to be able to reveal aspects of her character.
Yeah.
Well, for me, Aunty Patty is the sum of my childhood experiences with aunties, my mum, my grandma, my aunties that live down the street that everybody calls auntie, you're not related to, but you understood the culture of respect. So calling somebody Aunty Patty and things like that were names you knew to call them because there was a respect, there was an air of respect for spiritual leaders in the community and everything as a person of colour. That was very important, that I brought that dynamic and that edge to Aunty Patty. Yes, it's comical. Yes, she's quite an exaggerated character, but a lot of that larger in life is a bit of a character study, really, from the fact that an estate woman that's probably used to having to I guess cover herself, and with this facade of this don't mess with me, Aunty Patty, and being spiritual, you know, having to be spiritual leader and everything, and provide insight into people's lives. But you see her real vulnerability towards the end, obviously without spoiling anything. I think as you come to the end of that scene, you begin to notice vulnerabilities within her character. It's actually really cool to be a part of Curtis's journey. I mean, I've had the privilege of reading the script cover to cover, and you do see aspects of his journey that I didn't actually consider fully up until he gets to me. And now it makes more sense, you know, and having been able to do, like, the club scene, for example, you get glimpses into Curtis's world where sometimes he finds himself in seedy places or comical places, and but all of that, to be a part of that is, I think, profound, because as Aunty Patty, Aunty Patty is the clue giver. She's the hope giver. She's the one that is giving him insight into where his steps are going. But obviously she can't really say to the fullness, and I guess part of that is where her vulnerability comes in. Because if she really was to break down like word for word and say that this is going to happen to you, I don't think Curtis will handle it. So she's trying to download wisdom to him almost in a quite a vague way. I'm used to growing up in a culture where African sayings and proverbs are a regular thing. You don't understand what they're saying, but they'll say things to you. So, like, for example, in my culture, my family from Ghana, there's a phrase where you said, if you want to if you want to eat with kings, you need to wash your hands well. Now, most people will understand that to mean that, okay, you want to go wash your hands, go see the king. No, it's about the way you carry yourself with wisdom brings you before great people that you don't expect. So these are the things that in life that I find that in this dialogue of Curtis's life, you actually get to see these dare I say this, you see this Caucasian boy come in to an environment to meet this black lady who is about to give him a piece of his life.
Reality check.
A reality check, whereas for him, he just thinks, I'm coming to see a fortune teller. But what he's getting is...
Because he's come from a place of sadness where he doesn't know where his future lies.
Exactly.
And he wants context.
And what I love about this, it brings two cultures together because he ends up with a head-on collision with sayings and cultural... And because of the cultural mismatch, it makes it more funny.
Yes.
It makes it funnier because of the cultural mismatch. Because Aunty Patty is my mum's generation. I say, I as a millennial, I'll say is my generation too. Because now I'm an auntie to nieces and nephews and everything from cousins who've had children. They know not to just go to me, Kuria, I'll be the Auntie Kuria to you. So and you begin to see, the cycle has begun. That experience was incredible because everybody was one. It was just a oneness of heart, oneness of vision, doing something for the love of the job, doing something for the love of creativity, and actually there because they understood why they were there. They may not have understood completely what was going on in the scene, but when everybody got into character, it was magical to see everything happen together. Now, it was a lot of work, and it wasn't just those that were in the scenes. It was the camera people. It was the caterers. It was the conversations in between. It was the conversations in between, and it was one of my favourite bits was singing Les Mis. It just was. Really good. He's very relaxed, and I like him because his laid backness gives room for creativity and leaves room for spontaneity. He still likes things kept to the script, so you have structure, but he leaves room for the creativity to blossom as a result because he knows the structure's nailed down, and I love that. I like somebody who can work with me that way. And the type of person I am, I tend to do my best work when I've got freedom to work. So I found that he was very supportive. When I messed up, he was supportive. And yet he could be firm as well and say, no noise, this, that and the other. Let's get into it, lights, camera, action vibe. So it's good. And it wasn't even about lights, camera, action. It was like 3, 2, 1, action. And I learned something. I learned the behind the scenes, looking at the camera. It's quite nerve-wracking for me because it's like the first proper film I've been in this kind of context.
Yeah.
Not like in a school play where everybody has a camera and films it.
It's not in front of a green screen with lights and everything, so this feels a bit more real.
Yeah, it does. My sister's probably far more used to it. I'm used to being in front of the camera for music. So I'm no stranger to a camera, but it is different when you're actually having to act compared to doing a music video from your own song. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So where you're still you, obviously in character.
No, Aunty Patty, I don't know what you mean.
Well, I'm glad you remember the name is Aunty Patty. You ain't finna go there and you're not gonna call me Patty. Understood? Did I make myself clear?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it does, and I think what makes this one very different from the Bond films, or the Bond parodies. It's very much a parody. It's meant to be comical. It's meant to be
a piss take.
Yeah, piss take. So it feels like a piss take movie, like Scary Movie 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you remember them, they were very much like that. They were taking a piss out of scary movies. So it has that feel with that. But what makes this distinctly different is there is depth, there is heart, there is unfolding of different characters and their process of thought, the decisions they're making. Yeah, it makes you connect with some characters more than others, and obviously you've got things that are going on in the periphery that if one's not careful, you miss it. Yeah. But I'm sure once all the editing is finished, I just want to make sure that I don't end up on the cutting floor.
Oh, that will never happen, because you'll never speak to me again. Because that's the thing about the story, is that with each of the main 5, by the end, you don't really know who to root for. And that was the intention. The audience should feel conflicted. Who deserves the prize, as it were, more than any of the others?
It's the story of humanity.
It's not black and white. Yeah, humanity. It's
the story of humanity, because at the end of the day, you've got a bit of a tragicomedy or comic tragedy in a sense. It's a bit like Shakespeare and some of his problem plays, like Measure for Measure or Much Ado About Nothing. These problem plays are examples of where Shakespeare takes a character study and shows the real humanity, that oftentimes the end of a story is not as clear cut as it looks. You know, and I think with this, not knowing who to root for, because you don't want to root for the person that has done the heist, because it's a criminal offence. Yeah, but they're all criminals. They're all criminals, but at the same time, because we get insight into their background, insight into each person,
we understand.
There is a different level of empathy you have, and I think what it does, it provokes the human response for empathy and compassion. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah,
whilst it also being fun and entertaining. I mean, with scenes like yours as well.
It's meant to be actionable.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously the action will come later down the line as well.
Yes, I will. And yes, I would. I'm saying yes, I will, because I'm hoping that he'll ask me again. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah. Yes, but
just don't ask me for a salary increase.
Please. £1 fees. So, I think I've started on the song. I mean, I've got the lyrics, a basic lyrical framework, but obviously drawing from the themes of family, faith, faith in each other, faith in love, and the script and everything. Yeah. The idea of it being financial temptations, it's what it rings to me is a sense of how not all blood is thicker than water. Sometimes it's the ones around you that may not be blood, but they can be just as thick as the blood that runs through your vein.
And the idea of the 5 being a unit is not so much that they become a family, but that there's the promise of that. Yes. But whether they choose to do that is up to them.
It's a different story, yeah. It was beautiful that he went down the road of religion. Bear with me a second. Sometimes I do stammer and it comes through. But I think for me, it's the fact that where I connected is the understanding that he realized that there are some decisions that require a higher power than oneself. Some decisions are a bit too overwhelming for us to make, even as humans. Yeah. And I connected with it because that redemptive path is showing that he's trying to turn his life around. Yeah. Everybody's trying to turn their life around. And you can come from the most well-to-do family, and everything can be going cushy with your life, but it doesn't mean that there aren't decisions in life that aren't overwhelming.
Yeah, but showing remorse for what he's done.
Remorse, yeah. There's genuine. It's the repentance. Repentance comes from a Greek word which is called metanoia. Metanoia means to change the way you think. So it's about his process of changing his mind, changing the way he thinks. That's the path to redemption. That's what leads to remorse. It leads to genuine sorriness and everything. And I think that's important. I know these are themes that run throughout our lives.
Yeah. So aside from Patty, is he your favourite character?
I do like Leon.
Leon, yeah.
I do like Leon, although Curtis does need a bit of a slap or two.
Yeah, well, he's hard done by, isn't he? He's kind of the nicest of the group, and he gets messed around by the two girls, but won't spoil anything.
Yeah, but I think, obviously, I'm sure you've seen clips of scenes already ahead of promo, but without giving too much away, I think it's important to note that despite the fact that he's been hard done by, these are where the decisions come in. That how he responds to all of that will determine his end.
Yeah, and much the same for all of them.
Yeah.
Neither one is better than the other.
And that is the story of humanity.
And that's the story of financial temptation.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And
peace out.
Peace out. We will see you very soon.